I'm here to talk to you today about business email compromise. My name is Gethin Jones and I am JASE, just another security engineer. So thank you very much for inviting me to the Cyber Symposium today, much appreciated. We thought you'd learned your lesson by now, but it serves you right. In a few minutes, about half an hour's time, we'll hear from Riyadh from eCentire. We've heard from Sam and Dan from Pickers today, and of course Tal from Gitpol. And now you're left with this bloke who's obsessed by fish. I've never been fishing. I have no clue. I wouldn't know what to do go fishing. I mean, last time I walked my fish was a couple of weeks ago. But it's just as well that I work for Checkpoint Software Technology because we're celebrating 30 years in the IT security space. Possibly, I think, the longest serving IT security, pure play IT security vendor, but I'm not quite sure about that. 30 years, it's a long time, and because of this, we have an awful lot of products. As you can see on the screens in front of you, we're securing the cloud with CloudGuard, we're securing the data centers with Quantum, physical virtual gateways, and the Harmony side over here, securing users and access, pardon me, with email collaboration, endpoint, mobile, and of course VPN clients. All tied together with our Infinity Vision, so SOC in a box and EDR, XDR within a centralized place for everything you see here on the screen. I work in the Harmony team. So 30 years, Checkpoint gateways. Like a lot of other vendors, about 4 or 5 years ago, we realized that we couldn't secure email. Everyone's moving to the cloud. During lockdown, everybody ran to the cloud, which, let's face it, is just somebody else's computer. You can't put a gateway in the way. You have to find a way to secure this. Now, obviously, we could have bent our technology or added in new technology, but instead we went to market like a lot of other security vendors. And we found that Avanan was the best company out there for securing email. Not just because it ties in with an API, but because it's got a built-in AI that's specifically designed to protect Office 365 and Gmail and other SaaS applications. And this is why I'm here today, because we bought it. Any other vendors that are still using Avanan, and I'm sure there are a few, we bought it. So anyway, back to the business email compromise. And I'm talking about this today because I've had 2 companies so far this year that this has actually happened to. This is horrid. So this is not just a case of account takeover. What happens when somebody takes over or grabs hold of your email? Nothing. Not a damn thing. They will sit there and they will watch your emails. They will see how you email your colleagues and your staff and your customers. So that when they do finally decide to act, they can use the colloquialisms that we all use every day. Hi Jeff, how's it going? How was the football match at the weekend? Sorry about this, but we've got to change the invoicing details to the bank. Could you send the next payment to this address, please? Of course, the recipient is going to go, oh, okay, yeah, no worries, yeah. Football match was great, yeah, no problem at all, I'll get this sorted out. This is why business email compromise is bad, because you don't know it's going on. On the Avanan page itself, there's Business Email Compromise 3. There's a nice little white paper on this, and there's the QR code. Now, 2 customers that I've had, well, 2 companies that I know, what happened was that their email account was hacked 6 months previous to them actually discovering that it had been hacked. And the only time, both of these companies, same sort of thing happened to both companies. The only way they found out was that 2 of their customers hadn't paid. So they contacted the customers and said, you've not paid for a couple of months. Yes, we have. You told us to change the invoice address. Here's the email. Both customers, one company lost just over 250,000. Another company lost over 150,000 because there's no way you can go back to your customer and go, can you pay me again, please? Because that's just not going to happen. But anyway, back to the fish. That was fun, wasn't it? The reason why I'm going on about fish is because it all starts with a phishing email. It always has, it always will. You've all had phishing emails, everybody nod. Yeah, good. But from phishing goes to social engineering. Social engineering, everything's on there. What are you doing today? Who your friends are? How do you talk to people? What are your favourite sports? You're being profiled every time, not just by the Facebook, Instagrams, and Snapchats of this world, but also malicious actors. So, of course, phishing leads to social engineering, which leads to malware, which leads to loss of money, which leads to the dark side. I think I'm just channeling Yoda or something. Anyway, but it's the phishing that you need to watch out for. Now, normally, at this point in time, I would educate you about what a phishing email is. So just about insulting everybody in the room, yes? Because you all know what a phishing email is. You wouldn't click on this, would you? That wasn't too bad. You wouldn't click on that. You can just see this. That's official treatment store. I'm not quite sure what for. But seeing as I'm over 40 years old, most of my phishing emails are for Viagra or Russian women. I've obviously... Ukrainian women. Stay with the times, stay with the times. And it's just because I have been lightly profiled. So they know what's going on. Seen an awful lot from McAfee as well. I've seen a lot of adverts for very, very cheap McAfee anti-malware, which turns out to be malware. So you're not going to click on this, are you? No. No? Good. Right. So that was quite a nice one as well. I had malware embedded in the PDF, which of course was stripped out by my security. All the emails that you're seeing came out of my inbox. Well, my phishing inbox about 2-3 weeks ago. So these are actually real live emails. They're not that big a deal. No phishing in this room. This was a big deal. If you can see that up on the screen, have a lean in. That's from Austin Dean. I sent him some information, but he's on holiday in Wyndham. No idea who this person is. Never spoken to them, never dealt with them. Now, this was flagged up as phishing because it's from a low traffic domain. The domain doesn't even exist. But my first thought on seeing that email was, oh, damn, I've sent out 50 emails. Right, okay, I'll reply back. What's the worst thing you can do? Replying back to an email means that you have just started a dialogue with someone you think you know. So you're more liable to give more information coming through. The domain doesn't even exist. Obviously, this was checked out by the security that I had in place. But if I didn't have anything in place, I would have replied to this and said, right, yep, sorry, I'll catch you back when you're on holiday. So this would be the start of the social engineering phishing trail. Now, if I was unlucky enough to get this person to log into my account, business email compromise, then this is where it starts from. And it doesn't look suspicious. It's not advertising an anti-malware, it's not advertising a treatment or various women from around the world. It's just a business email that came into me. I hope you're all worried, because you should be. Because the companies that I'm talking about literally had no idea what to do. They didn't have the security in place. They didn't even know that their emails had been compromised until they lost money. So you will not know if you've been hacked or your account's been taken over until it actually happens. Make matters worse, social engineering, not necessarily Facebook and Instagram, it's LinkedIn. Where is Gethin today? Well, I'm here, I'm doing this. Next email that comes through, great to see you at the Cyber Symposium, this brilliant, can we have some more information? Is that a legitimate email? You genuinely don't know. How can you tell a legitimate email from an illegitimate email just by, sorry mate, I'm on holiday? Now this is the problems that we all have to face. This is why we need to have some sort of security in place before the malware gets delivered, because it's not always malware. It is the business email compromise, which I keep saying because I don't want to say Beck. But that is why it's so insidious and it's so nasty, because you literally have no control over this. Now, you can do things about it. You should always have two-factor authentication. As annoying as it is having to get your phone out and type things in, didn't Sam and Dan have that trying to log in with LastPass? There you go. It's annoying, but I'd rather be annoyed than have someone take over my email account. Train your employees, as silly as it sounds. I work for an IT security company. I've been there for 15 years, and every 6 months I still have security training every 6 months, which actually happened on Monday, which is why I spotted that email on Tuesday, because I was paying attention. And then the monitoring of accounts. You need to actually see who's emailing what and what's going on. So for instance, when I'm VPN'd into Israel to pick up my email, I'm also picking up email in the UK on my mobile phone. The security that I have in place at the present moment in time, if I'm picking up my email from Israel and my email from anywhere else in the world, it flags it up as an anomaly because I'm not supposed to be logging in from there. Now, obviously, things like Office 365 and Gmail, you can't tie it down to any particular country because you need to allow your employees to log in from everywhere. So you're going to get failed logins, hundreds of failed logins, thousands of failed logins. So failed logins are no problem at all. It's the damn successful ones that are the problem. Now, the two-factor authentication is going to help with this, as annoying as it is. And it really is annoying trying to get the right one, especially if you've got several accounts. But it's worth the pain. Because business email compromise, or even just taking over your account and bad-mouthing you to your friends is not something you want to happen to you. We keep hearing about on Facebook. I keep hearing on Facebook, because obviously I'm over 40 years old, so Facebook, because TikTok's the younger generation, so TikTok and Snapchat or what have you. Facebook and Instagram as you get older. That's the way it works, apparently. But I hear a lot of people say, my password's been hacked. Your password hasn't been hacked. You've just found out what colour donut you are today by answering several questions. You've just been profiled. Those silly questions you go on to are profiling. And it's such an industry now. If you're ever contacted on any of the social platforms by anybody, male, female, what have you, and they say, where are you? Wherever you say, they will then tell you that they are between 50 and 100 miles away from you. Pick any destination you like and it will always be between 50 and 100 miles. And the reason being is that the AIs that these guys use has worked out that 50 miles is a bit too far to drive, so you're not going to turn up on someone's the doorstep. And 100 miles is too far to even bother talking to somebody. So it's already been profiled the best way to get somebody to talk to you. All you've got to do is give out enough personal information and they can use that to get into your email accounts. Now, with Facebook, it's not too bad, unless, of course, you have end users who happen to use their corporate password logging onto Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. I've come across quite a few of those in recent months. You would have thought by now that everybody learned better, use something like LastPass, even though they got hacked. To secure your email addresses, your passwords, your credit card details, and all the rest of it. Make sure it's encrypted. Am I sounding paranoid? Yes, I am, because they really are out to get me. And you can tell by that email that I got from Austin. I'm just a security engineer. I'm not that big a deal within Checkpoint. But if they can get a foothold within your company, then they can then move laterally around your company just by emailing various people saying, Dave told me to come and talk to you, Steve, Tracy told me to come and talk to Catherine, so on and so on and so forth. This is how it's done. And unfortunately, it is very effective. But these three little things on here, along with the phishing, the account takeover, the invoice fraud, which is the worst, the data theft, the data theft being the main one, of course. With ransomware now, you get triple payout on ransomware. So if you steal a company's organisation, you can say, pay me money and I'll give it back to you. Or you can say, don't pay me money and I'll put it on the web and the ICO will fine you twice as much money as how much you were going to pay me. So it's a no-win scenario. I remember when the ransomware, when WannaCry was out there and NotPetya was flying around. We had loads of police forces all over the world saying, don't pay the ransom, don't pay the ransom. And then about 20 different police forces had no choice but to pay the ransom because they didn't have any backups. There's a hint, backup. So what you need on here, and here's the sales pitch, is the reason why we bought Avanan, Harmony Email Collaboration. Now this ties directly in to Office 365 and Gmail. There's no MX records to change. It just ties in with the API. It takes 5 minutes to tie it on. As soon as you've enabled it, it's in detect mode only. So your users aren't going to know. And at the end of 14 days, you get a nice little security checkup report. If you don't like the product, just remove it, stop it, and it will remove the 5 mail connectors it's created. No harm, no foul. Hopefully, you will get a blank report, which means that your company is super duper secure and everything's fine. I haven't seen one of those yet, not one. I've done over 500 of these POCs in the past 3 years, and I've not had a blank report once, not once. There's always phishing email. If you look at Microsoft and you look at the E5 platform that they've got, anti-spam is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, why would they not be? It's even in your Outlook. It's built in by default. That's just spam. Then you get phishing protection. Phishing protection, brilliant. The emails that you saw were all blocked by phishing protection. But it needs to be good phishing protection, because that one email that came through, it only takes one email to come through. When that email comes through and you answer that email, you've just started down the path of giving your information away. You CC the individual saying, I'm just sending this information over, they want some marketing details. Marketing details, that's no problem at all. But what are you giving out? Who are you giving the information to? Is it really a legitimate domain? Was it a domain in that case which was spun up that morning? Now, just because DNS propagation takes 48 hours, if you want to attack somebody in the UK, you spin up a UK domain this morning, no databases will contain this. Which is why we don't just have anti-phishing in Avanan and Harmony Email and Collaboration, we have 0-day phishing. So it will dynamically check the links that are maybe embedded in your email. The best one I've seen was 10 hops. So it was web page to web page to web page to OneDrive with a document with a link in there, web page to web page to web page to web page to Norwegian Hydrography Centre. Again, a legitimate website. Didn't show up any databases because it had been hacked. And this was just an Office, this was just an Outlook web access, an Office 365 login embedded deep inside this web page. The company didn't even know they'd been hacked. They're not on a blacklist. They're not on a block list. They're not on an anti-phishing list. And that's what we have to protect ourselves against. Now, you can educate your employees and yourselves to make sure you don't click on these links, but it only takes one busy day just to click through. Now, we've all got anti-malware installed on our laptops. We should all have anti-malware installed on our mobile phones. Look at the Harmony mobile suite if you haven't. So we're reasonably okay. In that case, how did a vulnerability in MoveIt cause the BBC to get hacked? Don't put your trust in everyone else. Put your faith in your own systems. So Harmony Email and Collaboration, the AI that's built into here, does this with you and not just for you. It profiles your users. Who do they normally talk to? How do they talk to people? So this is profiling the users as they work. They don't even know this is going on. And I'm not talking profiling as in I spent 3 hours this morning on Facebook and everything else. I'm talking about how I talk to customers, how I talk to my colleagues. If I start behaving outside of the norm, it gets flagged as an anomaly. And then, of course, the IT administrator is informed, this person's not usually talking about this, quick phone call, everything's fine. That level of security is what is required in today's emailing infrastructure. I don't know about you, before lockdown, I could wait a couple of days before replying to emails. But as soon as lockdown happened, emails was worse than instant messenger. You've got to reply immediately. Monday, I had 150 emails. That one came through on a Tuesday morning. If I wasn't paying attention, I'd have replied back and said, no worries, I'll send the documentation when you're back. This is what we have to put up with. And I've got 10 minutes left, panic here. So, all this is powered by Threat Cloud. Now, Threat Cloud is our massive database that we have. But onboarding this, legit emails will come straight through. The best example of this is a customer who was using SMTP to go to do printing. They did a POC with Harmony Email and Collaboration, and then phoned me up a week later saying it's not working. I says, what do you mean? Says, well, the SMTP to go hasn't been flagged. And we had to add in about 20 exceptions into our previous email protection. Why haven't we got to do it with you? Because HE&C went through the user's inbox all the users' inbox, saw that SMTP to go was a legitimate use, and then just flagged the non-security risk because it was a legitimate use. Customer didn't need to do anything. It learns on its own. The only way you can get this wrong, the only way I have got this wrong once, only once, just once, is if you program the AI to recognize good as bad and bad as good. I thought it would be funny. It wasn't. And that's the only time that you would need to do something about this. It's powered up to Threat Cloud. You're going to get emails through with attachments. The attachments will be 100% guaranteed malware free. And I get to say that in public because we use something called threat extraction. I email you a document. You will not get the original document. You will get a picture of the document, also known as CDR, Content Disarm and Reconstruction. But it means that you know that all of your users, the emails that they are getting through have been vetted by an AI that knows the user. So not just a case of using ChatGPT to write your exams. That works, by the way. Really, really well. Although don't use it on your company's internal security audit because they notice. But the way this ties in, it's going to give you safe emails, clean documents, protected URLs, above and beyond what your users would normally have. And they won't know. It's not going to affect their daily tasks. They'll just suddenly notice that they're not getting as many phishing emails as they were. The reason why the Threat Cloud is such a big deal is because it's not only an enormous data lake of information, it's the AIs and the machine learning algorithms that are plugged into the data lake. So for instance, if we spot a 0 day in HSBC in Hong Kong, we'll have the signature for that attack to the gateways and the Harmony email and collaboration and the endpoints and the mobile and the cloud within less than 3 hours. And this, again, now we're talking about sharing information across the board. But don't just take my word for it, and please don't. Okay, this is not a sales tie-in here at all. Harmony email and collaboration, portal.checkpoint.com, and more importantly, Askaris, because they can help you with this. It takes 3 minutes to install. All you need to be is a global admin on Gmail or Office 365. It will install 5 email rules in there. That's it. It's in detect. Nobody will know. And as I said, at the end of 14 days, if you've got a blank report, give me a call. Because I've never seen one before. I've genuinely never seen one. And this is with Mimecast, Microsoft plugged in, ForcePoint's been plugged in there, all of it's coming through. Proofpoint, everything. They all miss out on something. Whether it's misconfiguration, Gitpol can help you out with, or it's the fact that it hasn't been tied in properly, or the product's no good, that's up to you. But the Harmony email and collaboration checks that you can run is a nice security checkup to make sure the security that you've got in place is working. And if it is, then please feel free to give me a call and call me an idiot. It happens all the time. But this is the main thing to try out here. No MX record changes, no infrastructure changes, easy to use. Portal.checkpoint.com. I've got 5 minutes left. Oh, so thank you very much for listening from me and the fish. Has anybody got any questions? Yes, I am tall. No, I just stand this way.
With the attachment thingamajig that you were talking about, in more technical terms, what happens if a user needs to download a document to edit a document?
Then you click on the link in the email to get the original, but only after it's been judged as being benign.
Right, okay.
So the actual threat emulation that we use isn't just a sandboxing environment, just bung it into a sandboxing environment. We literally have about 90 AIs and machine learning algorithms that shred the whole thing completely, but it takes time. And admittedly, 5 minutes on an email is not that big a deal. 1 minute on an email is not that big a deal. And then lockdown happened, and then we need to reply instantly. Because of that, you'll get the document instantly. A lot of the PDFs that I get through are cleaned PDFs. I never even bothered to download the original. But that leads on to one of the nastiest phishing emails that I got. So I had a medical checkup last year. 2 weeks after the medical checkup, I had an email, "Dear Mr. Jones," not dear email address or dear user or dear patient, "Dear Mr. Jones, the results of your blood test have come back with a very low white blood cell count, which is highly indicative of cancer. Could you please print off the attached document and take to your GP as quickly as possible?" Now, I don't know about you guys, but I panicked. Oh my God. So I opened up said document, .cleaned.pdf, absolutely fine. The report afterwards, I had Conti embedded in the document that had been stripped out by our email security. I would have clicked on, I clicked on the link, I opened the document, I don't care about security. It was like, oh my God. But that's what they want to do. You're vulnerable because of this. And it's like lockdown, made us all vulnerable working from home. Did anybody actually get a text from Parcel Force? Yeah, me too. Did you pay the £1.72? Enough people paid it that it got on the BBC News. Yeah, it wasn't a big deal, was it? But it was just taking advantage because we were all more vulnerable sat at home. This is what the Harmony Email and Collaboration will protect you from within your emails. Obviously, it doesn't work on the mobile phone, so we have Harmony Mobile for that as well, which you keep banging on about and not enough people are buying. But during that lockdown, it was my colleagues, my friends as well were going, someone's emptied my bank account. I just kind of stand there and go, oh no, that's terrible. But yeah, absolutely, you get the benign document once it's classed as benign, and that is the document completely shredded. Not just a quick overview, or, oh, I've got 5 minutes left, I'll just release the document. But that's it. Cool?
Brilliant.
Thank you very much indeed.